The jail was wild, you know what I'm saying? Like, the individual to just didn't have a conscience sometimes because he was so high. And whenever they'll get into it, he'll be the first person front line, swinging knives, throwing blows, knocking bombers out, you name it. Got humiliated, like they trying to grab him. They grabbing him by his legs, they grabbing him by his feet. This 200 feet away from the COs. So if something happens and they banging on the door for help, they may, by the time they get to you, you might be dead. You have to dominate the person you were yesterday to be the person you want to be tomorrow. Mankind Fitness is a mindset, a way of life, and a weapon. Alright, y'all, so welcome back to another highly beneficial video brought to you by Mankind Fitness. Like we just mentioned, we are at the Brockbridge Correctional Facility that is no longer housing any inmates because the spot is condemned. I was released from this facility back in February of 2019. So it's been roughly 2.5 years since I've been, you know, up close and personal on this spot like this. And like I always say, man, to anybody and everybody, this is no place to be. I don't want kudo points. I don't want nobody to say, oh, Mankind think he a substantial nigga, or Mankind Fitness is a substantial nigga. He's solid, this, that, and third. No, lie. You know what I'm saying? Don't ascribe me to being solid or real nigga just because I went to prison. This doesn't define me. This doesn't define me. And likewise, you got people that think like that, but in actuality, there's cold suckers in here, just like there's cold suckers in the streets. So, to cut to the chase, I basically wanted to give you guys the rundown of this particular spot. And you just don't have to be in Maryland breaking law to get benefit from this. You can be all the way out in Idaho. You can be all the way out in Michigan. You can be all the way out in Texas watching this video and still get benefit from this, because it's a very similar situation. You got facilities that are really jacked up to the point where, you know, like I previously mentioned, my particular dormitory that I was at, you know, each dormitory, it's about 12. It's 12 dormitories if I'm not mistaken, or 11, I don't know, can't remember. And each one holds about 56 men, I think. And it's only about 6 showers, you know what I'm saying? Which is enough, you can make it happen, because a lot of times, like, the dormitories ain't at 56 man capacity, full capacity, I should say. But in my dormitory, it was only 2, sometimes only 3 showers working. So you gotta think, in the middle of the summertime, like right now, we will be out and doing 2-a-days out in the yard. So when we doing 2-a-days, we would go back into the shower, rushing back to the shower, sometimes beefing and fighting with other dudes with the shower. Alhamdulillah, it wasn't designated showers at this particular spot, you know, but at this particular spot, it might as well have been, because you got dudes that basically say, oh, who the next man to shower? They'll put his man on. A lot of times his man will be what he is. If he's from out the way, from what they say, which would be like, you know, the DC car, they'll put a dude that was from out DC behind him. Whole time the dude out in DC still on the phone. He just got on the phone. And then from there, that's how things would transpire. Dude would get out the shower, ain't nobody in the shower, but you got this dude, he's sweaty and salty trying to wash his balls, and this nigga's still on the phone. What's up with dog? And then that's how, next thing you know, dudes is getting into it. You know, dudes is getting into it. But, you know, some of the most wildest things that I had to witness firsthand at this spot was one of my close men from the streets. I'm not going to put his name out there because I wouldn't want him to do that to me, because it's quite embarrassing what I'm about to tell y'all. So it was, as soon as I came into jail, me and bruh, we was actually out ECI together on lockup. We happened to get in the same cell together, and we, like I said, we from the same area. We did a lot of dirt together, and when we finally got up on each other out ECI, you know, he tried to hide it, but it ended up coming out. Like, he was getting high, he was messing with the Suboxone, And it really threw me off, man. He was praying, but then he stopped praying once we got in the cell and he got comfortable, I guess. And you know, he was Muslim, but you know, he ended up, you know, telling me like, bro, like, you know, I'm Jay, which is, you know, he's part of that Black Gorilla family. Mind you, this dude's from Orlando. This dude is from Orlando, but this wasn't how he was brought up. He wasn't brought up around gangs and stuff like that. However, he spent a lot of his time in the juvenile system, so he didn't really have no time on the streets. He's been in the juvenile system in and out his whole life. So I guess that's when he got pretty much introduced to that, but he always kept it hidden because whenever he was on the streets, he never really ascribed himself to that. But when he was in the joint, he was that. And it threw me off, man. It threw me off. I had to tell him about himself. Long story short, like, you know, he said he was going to let it go because he kept running up his bit, messing with these dudes. Whenever they'll get into it, he'll be the first person front line, swinging knives, throwing blows, knocking bombers out, you name it. So, bruh, we're just going to call him bruh. Bruh ends up getting transferred to this spot a couple months before I did. So when he got transferred to this spot, the jail was wild, you know what I'm saying? Like, where do I start? Anyway, let's keep it on track. The jail had so many drugs, he was doing everything but driving a car up in here. So what ended up happening was, long story short, they was playing cards one day. It was a Bush member, which is basically like, you know, the person that runs that whole organization for the Black Gorilla family. So it was a Bush member on the dormitory that he was in. They was in PG dorm. Like I said, each dorm was named after the counties in Maryland. So he happened to be in PG dorm, and which is like one of the craziest, if not the most dangerous dorm, because it's all the way in the back. On the opposite side of what you see right here, it's on the opposite side of the dorm. So it's away far amount, you know, it's probably like 100, 200 feet away from the COs. So if something happens and they banging on the door for help, they may, by the time they get to you, you might be dead. So they playing cards one day, bruh cracked slick. So the Bush member, I forget Slim's name, but he actually happened to be from out in Salisbury, which was strange because, you know, BGF is pretty much a Baltimore organization, Baltimore-based organization. Anyways, dog hop up. You know what I'm saying? Him and BGF name by accident. Anyways, I'm not about to redo and start this over. Anyways, him and bruh get into it, and I forgot, to this day I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly what was said, but Slim ends up hitting him in his face, and then bruh, like, B, he curls up. B curls up, and next thing you know, it's probably like, they say it was like 10, 11, 12 young niggas just whooping him all over the dorm. Like, he's trying to hide and run under the bunks, and he really got humiliated. Like, they trying to grab him. They grabbing him by his legs. They grabbing him by his feet. This is what was told to me. They grabbing him by his feet. He said, "Nah, man, chill." And oh yeah, his name was Moon. They like, "Yeah, Moon, I'm sorry, Moon, I'm sorry, please stop." Like, real live, he son my man. Like, I ain't gonna lie. And like, they whooped him so bad, like they said his whole face was done up, like was all swollen, you know what I'm saying? And that really messed me up, but at the same time I saw it coming. You know what I'm saying? I saw it coming, and you know, it was really nothing that I can do. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew what he signed up for. And at the end of the day, Allah humiliated him. He had no business being associated with an organization that doesn't have his best interests. He pretty much was the individual to just didn't have a conscience sometimes because he was so high, and he didn't really know what he was doing and what he was saying to this person who was basically, you know, if you ask me, that's your daddy. You know what I'm saying? You want to be a gang member, them double OGs and them BMs, that's your daddy. You You know what I'm saying? And we all know we only got one father. So, like, this dude, man, he was really just asking for it. So they put hands on him so bad, he ended up having to get checked in. He wrote me a kite, basically explaining the whole situation. He swore up and down that he wasn't about to be on that time no more. He's done with it. This, that, and the third. So, you know, it hurt me. But at the same time, like I said, it was nothing I could do about it. And it's unfortunate, but to this day, last I checked, man, that Suboxone had actually led him to becoming a severe drug addict, man. You know what I'm saying? A severe drug addict, you know. One of the brothers, they told me they ran into him out here, and they said bro was on he was definitely using heroin, but what else was he doing? Crystal meth. Yeah, man, that really messed me up. That really messed me up when they said that. So I just say that to say, like, you know, it's so many different things you gotta avoid in here. Drug use is one of them, because a lot of people, they can't tolerate doing that time straight up raw, uncut. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I chose to do my time without doing any drugs. So with that being said, it just made me, I could tolerate a lot of stuff. A lot of dudes, they can't tolerate being locked up. They try to escape reality. Same way out here. You know what I'm saying? When you see people partying, drugging, and drinking all on these stories on Instagram, that's basically, to me, sometimes I feel like that's a call out for help, but you gotta want the help. You know, they're trying to escape reality because reality is just beating them up. They can't tolerate reality. And imagine coming in here trying to face reality. That you can't run from this. You can't run from the SEALs. You can't run from the gang members. You can't run from the NAVs. You can't run from and do but so much about your situation. You know, niggas getting paid 50, 60, 70 cents. Some people getting paid maybe $2, $3 a month. Excuse me, a day to work for somebody else, making another man rich, making the government rich. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know. MCE, Maryland Correctional Enterprise, I believe is what that stands for. They make the license plates for Maryland, and they charge these workers pennies to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they capitalize. This is not just a prison to punish people. It's bigger than that. This is a corporation. This is an industry, and they making money off of us, man. They making money keeping us housed up in here. And like y'all saw in, you know, the previous episodes, everybody that was in that yard was black. You know what I'm saying? You know, you go into the PC side, you saw, you know, a little bit more white boys, but the prison population mainly makes up this, you know. But yeah, bro, I really can tell y'all so many more stories, so many that I can count, but my time is very limited, and I hope you guys benefited from this series, and share it with a friend, and stay out the way out there, dog, for real, because this ain't no place for nobody, man. I can tell you firsthand, this is either gonna make you or break you if you come up in here. Believe me when I tell you, you don't gotta get validation from nobody out here to consider yourself a man. You know what I'm saying? To consider yourself a man, you don't gotta be like everybody else. All the real niggas is not in here. Real niggas don't even think about going in here. But there's real niggas that's in here. Only because they made a mistake one time. They made a mistake one time. That split-second decision, they wasn't thinking right. They got thrown outside their pivot. So you gotta remain on your pivot out here. Don't forget that. I'm out.